Early access games have been the new growing craze for startup game developers. It gives them the ability to show a prototype to the public, lets them get extra funding for it to continue making the game, and they get mostly serious feedback from it. This is beneficial for consumers as well, because you get to get on the ground floor of the game. For a competitive PvP game, a head start is super useful. Plus, you get to help shape the future of the game as well. However, there's not always been a positive outcome, as most gamers can attest to. Some titles, such as H1Z1, Daisy Standalone, just to name a few, completely changed their game, so it's nothing like what the consumers paid for originally. Others just completely abandoned their titles, Sean Murray, where any feedback and inquiries is pretty much as pointless as praying to the flying spaghetti monster. I mean, you can't blame them. Scrooge McDucking into a giant pile of salty gamers' money would definitely take up most of my day as well. Nonetheless, the point of this video, and hopefully the upcoming series, is to give you an impartial look into these titles. So the only person who has a buyer's remorse is myself. And let's be honest here, I'm pretty much dead inside, so the only emotion I can feel is regret. Alright, so when you think of the brawler genre, you're thinking of like Dynasty Warriors, Beautiful Joe, Bayonetta, among a few. Or if you're an older gamer, you're thinking like Battletoads, Streets of Rage, and of course, bad dudes. Why yes, I am a bad enough dude to save the president, but not if it's that one. Or that one. Beat 'em ups have faced a decline in the past decade or so, with a few gems hidden throughout, but with the surge of multiplayer titles, it's really been hard for them to keep up. Recent early access titles like The Calling has brought kind of a resurgence into it, but only to a moderate success. Smash+Grab has borrowed heavily from all these aforementioned games, as well as sprinkling some like MOBA elements in, and taking from United Front's game's big title Sleeping Dog, their whole stylistic approach to gang warfare. Nonetheless, let's jump into the nitty-gritty of UF Games' brawler MOBA hybrid, Smash+Grab. I look like I'm stoned all the fucking time. So Smash+Grab, or Smash and Grab is what I'm going to call it because that name's kind of stupid, combines high-octane action combat with MOBA elements sprinkled in, like pseudo lane management, hero abilities, and a different cast of heroes. All the heroes are highly customizable, and they have tons of different costume options which are unlocked via the in-game leveling system, which is awesome, as well as implementing a talent system which allows for a varying degree of different play styles. Most of it's focused on power, toughness, speed of looting, and the utility of your overall skills. More talent options are unlocked as you level up more in the game, but you're only given 6 perk points total to spend on the game. And even fully leveled, the talents aren't really overpowered, they just give you more of an edge when you're playing a different style. So a basic idea of how the game plays and what the gist of a match will be is 2 teams of 3 are going to be released in these post-apocalyptic streets, with the ultimate goal to grab as much loot as possible and basically kill any enemies who get in your way. So basically, you're playing Black Friday in America, the video game. You're going to have these stores marked with a green icon on the map that you have to go that have cash in them, and you're going to bust them open and use right-click to loot, and it takes about 10-15 seconds to loot a store fully. As well as there being weapon stores that are sprinkled out as well, which spawn each phase. And each phase, these weapons have better upgrades for you to get, and are very, very important to increase the power of your character. The big thing is that looting a store, while it's the most important thing to do, will also make your character vulnerable while you're doing it. The combat comes in when a store is in a certain choke point, and you're looting the store and someone comes in to try to vulture a store you just smashed open. And speaking of the combat, that's where this whole game shines. Every hit has weight behind it, and I found myself tensing up quite often when you get in a really intense match between somebody. The combat plays out with the paper, rock, scissors concept. You basically have strikes, dodge encounters, and grabs. So basically, strike is going to beat someone trying to grab you, grabbing is going to beat someone that's trying to counter, and counter beats someone that's trying to strike you. System is simple enough to learn, but once you get into it, it actually adds a lot of replayability, as trying to learn how to read opponents' movements and learning what a certain opponent does over and over really pays off. It's really easy to get into a rhythm and start reading your opponent's movements, and I've been in quite a few battles where I've been at 20% health, they're at 100%, and I've won just sheerly from the fact of reading their movements before they do it. To supplement the character, everyone has 2 active abilities and 1 passive ability. And these are geared towards a specific play style. So my current favorite, Doomchild, is basically like an AoE wrecking machine. Everything is used to either disrupt a crowd or boost the armor of his crew. And once you find a playstyle that fits for you, the game clicks like that.
But Wigan, you said this game has MOBA elements. This is just an action game.
See, that's what my fake haters would say if I had any, of course. And to the voices in my head, I say, shh, it's okay, baby. The game does have MOBA elements, let me explain. So each player in their team gets their own personal gang, which is going to consist of 1 lieutenant and 3 grunts. These guys are controlled by the AI, and before you say it, I'm actually genuinely impressed at how well the AI works in this game. This is not Skyrim's companion AI. Looking at you, Lydia, I love you, but I hate you. Your gang will actually prioritize whatever action you're taking, and there's a fun little control wheel that allow you to tell them what to do. So say someone's attacking you, but you want your crew to keep looting, bam, tell them to loot, you go beat the shit out of some guy. Plus, you can choose your specific crew type to maximize your playstyle. You want guys that loot fast? Go for it. You want guys that prioritize defending you? Hell yeah, they fucking got it. You also get a little rally command on the F key that is used to control your crew. Like the character Doomchild before, his F makes his crew use charge attacks more often. So your lieutenant is like the head honcho of your gang, and he's super fucking useful. They each have their own talent tree, just like your main character, and they can have their costume customized as well as each gang of the 3 total gangs have a choice of 6 lieutenants. So each lieutenant does add a different playstyle, and they all have their one unique skill that really does help out your character. So each game runs through 3 stages. We're going to have more powerful weapons spawn, and you're going to have more stores open up, with the 3rd stage of the most powerful mega stores opening up. So as you get weapon upgrades, you can then turn around and mod the weapon to have different effects by using some components you get from looting the stores. This is why looting is actually very important, and for someone that just wants to beat the shit out of people, you're gonna have to loot stores or you're not gonna be able to update your weapon. And all these upgrades are super invaluable even late game because you can swap to your old weapons during combat. So say you pick up a sonic enhancement for your weapon, which increases the damage you do to stores, you can use that to beat up a store really fast, swap back to your main weapon while you're looting. It also adds like a counter element to the game because certain characters can heal, and say you have 2 healing characters in the enemy team, maybe you should go for the poison enhancement on your fire axe instead of the fire, and then you're able to counter their healing. Also scattered throughout the maps are different buffs such as damage, move speed, armor, and health. These give like such a powerful advantage against enemies, and I mean 25% per buff, I find myself one-shotting characters with it. It's freaking awesome. So the game currently only has 2 modes, Ransack and Take Back. Ransack is the mode that I'm currently showing you right now and showing through most of the video. It's basically lanes, taking the stores, picking up weapon upgrades, and at the end there's going to be 2 mega stores that spawn that are super important. They give about $10,000 for looting them completely, and they're guarded by these super mega guards. Take Back is kind of like a capture the flag mode. It still has the normal elements like the stores and the weapon upgrades and stuff, but in the middle, a box will drop. And basically you pick it up, you take it back to your base, enemies try to beat the shit out of you, and whoever gets it gets about $10,000 as well. So this game does not try to be something it's not. It's a PvP brawler through and through. Matches are quick and fast paced, they leave you hungry for more when you're over, and much of the replayability is not due to the game modes, but just due to how fun the matches can be. And what's cool is that since the underlying objective is basically looting the stores, players that have a significant skill advantage can still be beaten by people that prioritize the objective. You do lose a small amount of money when you die, but you're still going to be focusing on getting the objective, so players that are just trying to hunt other people down aren't going to have the bonuses that the other people will. So I feel like the game is forgiving enough, and honestly out of the 50 plus matches I've played, I've only ran into 5 total stomps. And most of the time that was because of during the free weekend I had already put in 10 hours into the game, and if you don't know how to get into it, it's kind of hard. It's kind of like the calling, where if you've never played the calling before and you get into it, you're going to get your shit kicked in for the first couple hours because people are just so good at the rock, paper, scissors combat. They have combos down. They pretty much can read someone's movement. Alright, so now I'm going on to the part where I whine about the game. And I have to be critical here. I can't say that this game is perfect because it's not. And understandably, this game is early access, so I'm going to let some things slide. I'm still going to mention it, and hopefully the devs will be addressing it.
But yeah, once again, this game is not perfect 10 out of 10 Skyrim with guns. Like, there's going to be problems, and a lot of the things they have posted on their Twitter, they're also super active on Twitter. I'm going to give them a shout out because I've asked them like 5 questions already, and they still are getting back to me like within an hour. It's fucking awesome. So just like any early access title, the game is poorly optimized. I remember when I first played Ark Survival Evolved, I couldn't run that game for shit, and now it works like a charm. Same thing with this game. I'm running a GTX 970 and a really nice motherboard and processor, so I'd expect to get some decent FPS, but right now I'm at medium with 40 FPS, and it can dip sometimes. Servers also aren't the most stable. That's kind of an understatement. I have times where the game does not want to load a game at all, and then I have times where it works like a charm. I've had lobbies just completely disconnect. I've been loaded in and my allies don't load in, so I'm stuck in a game versus AI. And often you'll find yourself in a fight where you thought you got away from somebody or you thought you dodged and you end up taking a hit that you shouldn't have, or vice versa, where you swing at someone and you completely whiff it when you know that should have connected. Also, just like every other MOBA in existence, levers are a big problem because once you're in a game and it's 3v3 and then someone leaves making a 2v3, you're kind of fucked. There's no current leaving penalty right now, so someone can just leave because they got butthurt, and then you're screwed into a game. The lever is replaced with an AI companion, but he doesn't really help. He basically runs into 1v3s all flippantly, and he'll prioritize looting stores even if there's someone bashing your head in right next to him. There are some character balance issues, and I know it's not a big deal, and the game is pretty balanced, and I've played most of the melee characters to pretty good effect. But a certain character named Tenblade, who I showed footage of, she's this Asian doctor, dentist, I don't exactly know what, but she's really freaking powerful. She specializes in like isolating people and CC. And in any PvP game, someone that's good at CC is gonna fuck people up. So she needs to be toned down, because like when she's stuck in a grab animation or a counter animation, she's immune to damage. So she could basically effectively 1v3 everyone because she doesn't take damage when she's locked in those. But they have addressed some of that, and in one of their developer notes, they actually toned her down a bit, which is great. I'm happy. Once again, these devs are active, they can tell they care about the game, and it really shows in their title. And last but not least, I hate the queue times in the game. I know this is a new game. There's maybe 300, 400 people playing at a time, and it tries to match you based upon your skill level, but that's kind of hard when there's not that many people playing. So on to the important question, and the reason why I make this video is, should you buy this game? And honestly, if you're looking for a 100% bug-free experience, I don't know why you're looking at early access. You should be looking at some quality Ubisoft titles. Man, I'm funny. So I judge an early access game's purchasability based upon the bang for the buck you get. If you can spend an hour playing for every dollar you spent, I consider that a good buy. So let's say I spent $15 in this game, which I did, and I've already spent 10 hours doing it, and after I make this video, I'm probably going to spend another 10 hours playing it. So definitely in this department, it gets a solid thumbs up from me. As stated before, the replayability is super high. There's different characters, different play styles, outfits for my guy, all sorts of fun stuff. But I will say that the lack of a variety does kill the game for me a little bit. And lastly, especially with early access titles, does it seem like the devs are going to continue supporting this game? And that's super important, because while I totally support devs getting their name out there and trying out an early access title, there's been way too many times that gamers have been burned. So, based on the track record of United Front's games, they actually have pretty good titles. They worked on the new Tomb Raider, which depends on who you ask is a decent game, and they did work on Sleeping Dogs, which I personally loved. I thought it was a great Asian Grand Theft Auto. And not that one. So I say yes, I do believe that they will actually take care of their game and that they're going to be on top of it. They've already done a huge giveaway, they're constantly promoting, and they're constantly tweeting out and talking to their different consumers. So once again, if you're a fan of brawlers, if you like games with MOBA elements mixed in, and if you like good PvP action, I would totally try this game out. It's really fun, it's well worth the time. Hey guys, thanks so much for sticking through the video. This is like my second video of actually putting together a lot of work into it. This took me at least a week and a half to make. I'm super new to the video editing and the YouTube game, and honestly, I'm probably the 10,000th channel that's doing this, but I really appreciate y'all watching this and giving your time.